Justin Mackey, welcome to the Rep Report.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You had a couple of competitors, huh?
Yeah, just the one today, Michael Harris.
Killed it.
Well, so he got the light heavy and overall bodybuilding, and then he won his class in classic physique and the overall. So.
Yeah, we're gonna get to him.
Oh yeah.
Definitely gonna get to him. Just want to ask you a few questions. You know, I've never interviewed you. It's the first time I met.
Yeah.
What sparked your interest in actually doing bodybuilding?
So actually, my aunt and uncle were bodybuilders when I was growing up, and I kind of just grew up around it. So as I got older, seeing them do it, they were constantly bringing their food around. I was going to my aunt shows when she was competing, and she was in Illinois, Wisconsin, so I was all around that. And it just kind of stuck, man. It was just something I always wanted to do, and I have the the genetics thing was always on my side too. So
Absolutely.
And I saw that even when I was little. I mean, at 5 years old, you could see I had shoulders and I had abs. So it's like, yeah. So it was always a family thing.
So as an IFBB pro, what key lessons or takeaways can you share with us?
So I mean, I think the biggest thing is, so I was climbing up the amateur ranks, and I got to the top. I won my pro card, and then I'm right back down to the totem pole. So I'm at the bottom of the totem pole. So you just need to take everything with a grain of salt and figure out how to get better each show. It's not all about winning every single show that you jump into, but hopefully you're giving a little bit better of you every time you jump on stage. And I think that's a huge thing for even a lot of the amateurs or the guys that are starting, because it doesn't always start off with wins. You know what I'm saying? So amateur wise, I've won one overall show ever, and I did a lot of shows. We were just talking about it. I've competed since 2010. So there's always, it takes, it's a process. This is a sprint, or this isn't a sprint, this is a marathon. So
yeah, that's right.
So that's what I would say to people.
So what did you do, like 2 or 3 shows a year over the last since 2010? Or
yeah,
average?
So 2010, like I did, 2 shows. I was doing 2 shows, every year till about 2015. I did junior nationals, and then I went and did nationals that same year, and then I started doing, one national show. And I was trying to get, and I was climbing weight classes. So I started off as a middleweight, went to light heavy, then I moved into heavyweight, and I ended up turning pro as a heavyweight. So, but it took me a long time. I started at USA's in 2014. I took 8th in the light heavies, and then I kept going to nationals, North Americans. The year I won my pro card, I did all 3 of the national level shows, and I finally got it at nationals. So I dieted for almost 11 months. So.
Yeah, that's brutal.
But it was worth it,
Absolutely.
At the end of it, it was worth it. So
absolutely. You have any insight into maybe overcoming setbacks that you've come across? Something you want to share to the younger crowd that's just getting into it and maybe hits a setback? How do you deal with that kind of stuff?
Well, if you're hitting setbacks, that means that you're trying, and you're doing something. You're trying, and the worst thing you could do is not try.
Yeah.
So if you're hitting these setbacks, or a lot of things are like, sometimes these things comes in, threes. That's usually how it goes. So, you just need to, I actually just said this to the crowd, if you win, celebrate that for 24 hours and then move on, and you're on to the next one. If you lose, you need to do that same thing. So if you're getting setbacks, be upset about it for a little bit and then keep on moving. That's what I would say.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Why don't you share the most memorable moment or achievement you had as an IFBB pro?
Mm-hmm. Well, I haven't won a pro show.
Okay.
My placements haven't really been that great. The best placement I've had was the 2020 Tampa Pro, and I took 7th there. That was a big one for me as a pro, just because it was in the middle of COVID.
Okay.
So we all showed up, and and it was cool because everybody kind of rallied together, and they still got the show done, and we were all dieting, not knowing whether the show was actually going to happen or not. So the fact that we made it happen was great, and that's something that I'll always remember for sure.
Absolutely. That sounds like a very memorable moment for sure. Would you tell us about how important mental strength and mindset is in this industry? I know it's huge, but give us your thoughts on that.
I mean, it's tough, man. I'm not going to say that I'm great at it, but as I get older, I'm learning ways to deal with the setbacks that you were talking about before, and also trying to change my mindset, because this is not an easy thing to do, whether you're an amateur or you're a pro or whatever. To get in front of somebody and have them judge you and tell you whether you're better than the person next to you is not an easy thing to do. And you're in your skivvies, and
They're pretty exposed for sure.
And all eyes are on you. So you know, the mindset going in is, you know, I need to leave no stone unturned, and I need to give 100%. And then the next day after that, if I can give just a little bit more, we're going to get a little bit better every single day. And hopefully that little bit better every single day adds up into something big. And that's usually how it goes.
That's a great mindset. I always tell myself that you're just trying to be a little bit better than you were yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Me and him, we have a thing: motivation versus consistency.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on it?
So are you? Oh, well,
It's a tough one.
In this sport,
Yes.
I mean, consistency is big because you're not going to be motivated every single day.
That's right. That's my take.
Yeah, but I will say though, you know, motivation, whether it was negative or positive, did drive me a lot to get to where I was as a pro. Because you know, there was a lot of people that were behind me and supporting me, and then on the other hand, there was a lot of people that didn't want to see me do it when I was doing so. I use that too. You have to be able to use the negative. So I will say, those days when, you know, when those people were chirping, they were talking, you know, it did drive me through my workouts. It drove me through my cardio sessions. But if I wasn't consistent and doing it every single day, none of that happened. So discipline is, you know, 100% above those things. So
hopefully this interview will inspire and motivate some people.
Yeah.
But I thank you so much for taking the time
man. Thanks.
for the interview, and good luck on the next show. You said you're going
Probably
sometime
next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, man.
Thanks again, bro.
No problem.